Hello friends and enemies. Welcome back to another installment of Weekly Allowance. Today we continue our review of the Mythic Legions Necronominus line, at least the ones we got, with this, the Turpiculi. Aside from Blaulith, this was the figure I was most excited for in this wave. Just a really cool, monstrous skeleton army builder guy. This is a deluxe figure, so there's a lot of stuff to choose from, a lot of different bits and bobs. As you can see, our Turpiculus, if it's just one, is it Turpiculus, and then an army is like Turpiculi. It's like multiples. I'm gonna say a single one is a Turpiculus. Anyway, our Turpiculus has this weird smear of paint on the front of the plastic in the box, and this isn't a new occurrence. We've had a few Cosmic Legions figures with that same thing. I think mostly the Sphexians. It's interesting because the figure doesn't seem to have any paint smear on it, or it's not missing any paint, but there's a definite wide smear of paint across the front of that plastic, and I don't know why or how. But I'm hoping that when we open it up, there will not be anything out of sorts with this figure, paint-wise or otherwise. So here you get the standard Mythic Legions card-backed packaging with the big wide window. We've seen this artwork with the other figures, but I just always like to show it off because it's beautiful. We've got our 4 horsemen. Necronominus is at the 4 because this is his wave. He's a bone man, and so with this wave you get a lot of bone creatures. I think for this wave we mostly got the creatures. I think there were some knights in this wave that we passed by, even though now that I think about it, it would be nice to have a knight to go on bishop, which we haven't opened yet. But yeah, for this one, I don't know. The knights are really cool. I mean, pretty much everything that Four Horsemen Studios does is cool, but you know, you can't get everything. So I tend to lean more toward different, interesting, monster-y figures. Something that I couldn't necessarily get elsewhere, and this definitely fits the bill. And we only got one of these, but like I said, it would be a really good army builder because I think there's a few different options build-wise. And as far as lore goes, these are supposed to be an army of creatures, so whenever you see one, there's probably more on the horizon. That said, I'm not really dialed into the Mythic Legions lore that much. I like to use my imagination and make up my own kind of headcanon for these things. I think that's fine, they're toys. If that's not what they're for, then what else would they be for? Yeah, I've seen people, maybe this is a bit of a rant, and I really don't care that much, you know, you do what you want with your figure. But I've seen people lean real hard into the lore. Especially when it comes to the dragon they did the crowdfunding campaign for. It's fine that they created their own story. I mean, that's great, actually. It's really cool. But, you know, once you buy it, it's your figure. You can pretend it's whatever you want it to be. You can call that dragon Nancy if you want to. Of course, no shade at all to the people at Four Horsemen who came up with the story and the characters and everything. I think that is amazing. Some very, very creative people working over there, and I am grateful for them. Alright, so we all know that there's more to this creature than just what you see here. It comes with a ton of stuff to attach to it, but I'm just going to start out with the way it was in the package, and then we will attach its little extras and get a look at the whole gestalt. I'm already in love with this thing. I know it's meant to be a monster, but it is so cute. Look at that little face. I mean, is it a terrible, old, rotten, jagged animal skull? Sure. But is it also adorable? Also, yes. Four Horsemen always kills it, no pun intended, in the skeleton department, and they've really gone all out in this wave, especially with the Chimera that came with Blaulith and this guy. Or girl. If you are a skeleton, do you have a gender? Of course, I'm also questioning why a skeleton needs to be so modest and needs a loincloth. What are you trying to hide? Anyway, beautiful sculpt as usual. I love those horns. There's some gloss in key areas, especially on the horns inside the eye sockets that look all dry and rotted. Very cool use of 3D space because you get a lot of recesses in that skull as well. And even in the main body, like the ribs aren't just one piece. There's some recesses in there. You can peer inside. Very cute little toesies. We get a little creative with the anatomy here, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. If you're turning a skeleton into a playable object, you need to kind of work around some things. Because as it stands, a skeleton, pretty much any skeleton, needs all sorts of wiring and stuff to stand on its own, let alone be articulated. Its extra limbs are so giant compared to its regular limbs. I feel like normally that would bother me, but they did something here with this design to where it does not throw me off. In fact, I think its regular size limbs would not look as good. Just the way that these are able to arc out from the body is very nice. Of course, great work on the belt and the loincloth. Lots of different textures. And there's even some recessed holes here, 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 and even one here where this rivet has fallen out. They didn't have to do that, but they did. And of course, a variety of different finishes and shades of paint to cap it all off. I especially like the tarnished metals in some key places, like on the shackles, on this little belt. Just so nice. These figures are so nice. I love them. So I'm going to look at what base articulation this thing has, and then we will begin going through all the accessories and all the different body parts you can put on it. So let's look at what this thing can do. First off, I note an articulated jaw, which is fantastic. I love that. Really wish the Chimera had this. Quite the underbite. Just going back to sculpt, I just love this head sculpt. The skull is split open and there's even a chunk missing right here. Crazy attention to detail. Yeah, articulated jaw, always a plus. This is just on a ball joint, so you get a lot of movement. Actually, the head moves really easily to the point where it kind of comes off without much trying, at least on mine. It's also got a neck joint, but it's just on a swivel. Still, some added movement, never hurt. Oh, you got some really nice movement on the waist. Now you do have to be careful with this half belt thing. I don't know why they just wouldn't make the whole belt. It's like they cut one of these in half and stuck it in there. But I think it would be fine with a whole one. Anyway, very nice movement there. And usually you want to heat these things up. This one is moving okay on its own. I imagine that once I start putting the other body parts on it, I'm going to want to heat it up. Yeah, the arm is a little bit stuck. Not really stuck, it's just a big joint that takes a lot of pressure to move. And you want to be careful with these things. You definitely don't want to snap them, which is why heat is always a good idea. Swivel on that elbow as well. Hinge and swivel on the hand, up on the leg. We've got another pretty big hinge joint on the hip. So like the shoulder, it wanted to stick a little bit, but if you gently move it, it should work. Just be gentle with it. And then you've got a sweep back. Nice knee joint. And swivel and rock on the ankle. For these back arms, they're also on a hinge. Again, be careful. Don't want to break anything. They're on a hinge and a swivel. Then you get another hinge and swivel at the elbow. Swivel at this hand, and I think I see a hinge joint, but it's not wanting to move. Yeah, there's a hinge joint there, but it is pretty stuck, and I don't want to force it, so I will mess with that later after I've applied some heat. All in all, really good articulation for this little fella. You know, Four Horsemen figures, as we've discussed previously on this channel, aren't really known for their outstanding articulation. I mean, some figures are certainly very impressive, like the Valiant Knight, for instance, and some of the skeletons too, because there's not really that much to get in the way. But overall, their articulation is pretty standard, I would say, and especially when you get into more involved characters like the horsemen themselves, like they have a ton of stuff on them. They're definitely just something you pose and then put on the shelf and never touch again. But I feel like this one in particular has really, really good articulation. You get a lot of movement and personality out of it. It's not that I wasn't expecting that with this one, it's just that it's even better than I thought it would be. Again, these aren't something that I collect for purely posing purposes. I just like the way they look. They're beautiful pieces of art. They've got a lot of character. But yeah, this one can get all sorts of good movement. Of course, when you start adding things to it, that's going to make things a little bit more complicated. So before I attach all the extra parts, I'm going to go through everything that this set includes. And then we will put it all together and see how it looks. Your Turpiculus will come with an extra head. Very similar to the attached head, but it's not split down the middle. Still has an articulated jaw, still has that impressive underbite. This one does not have horns, however. Once again, very good sculpt, very good paint work. I think I prefer the one with horns just because it adds a little razzle-dazzle. You get a tail. So once again, these are army builders. So if you don't want it to have a tail, you don't have to attach the tail. This is just a superfluous piece. So if you have more than one, you could have one with a tail, one without a tail. They're meant to be different. That's why they come with all these different items. And the tail is really cool. It's rubbery, so no chance of breakage, and it's wired. So you should be able to get some really neat movement out of that. It will come with extra hands. It not only comes with extra normal sized hands, so right now it has the holding things hands attached, but these are more kind of like outstretched claws. But in addition to those, we have extra hands for the extra arms. Appropriately large, once again, stretched out and grasping. Very, very nice sculpt. Very creepy, even just disembodied. You get a set of wings. Well, I say they're wings, but I don't think they're much use. I'm doubtful that this thing could fly, but there are more holes in the back of the creature. You could plug these in and just have a pair of skeletal wings. And then you get some weapons. There's twin blades made of bone blades. As always, very nice finish on these weapons. Appropriately rusty. They almost look like there's blood on them. I believe that's meant to be rust, but it's probably caused by blood. And then this crazy looking axe with a similar kind of finish. Once again, made out of bone. So this thing is ready to cause some trouble. So I'm going to go ahead and put all the extra parts on it, and we'll see how it looks all together. Honestly, it looks cool as hell. I mean, this is a really strong contender for my favorite out of the wave so far. I mean, we've only opened 3 figures, but I really didn't think anything could top Belalith, just because of that chimera she came with and all the different bone animals. It's just a really cool set. But this is just next level. It's awesome. It looks cool. It has great articulation, beautifully sculpted. Paint is great. Just, there's nothing about this thing I do not like. What a perfect figure. I love 4 Horsemen figures, but there are some that I have definite gripes with, and this is not one of them. It's beautiful, it's amazing, it looks so rad. So I was looking at promo pictures for this thing, and it looks like you can actually swap out these primary arms with these longer back arms and just give it like huge, freakishly long bruiser arms in the front and then have the smaller ones in the back. And that is so cool. There's just so much you can do with this figure. If you have multiples, you can take the arms from one, put it on the back instead of the wings. You might be able to do that anyway with like different skeleton arms from different figures. But I wanted to show, if I can without ruining this whole setup, that the wing arms also move much in the same way as the as these long back arms. I did have to heat this up to insert those, and this piece also moves as well. This would be the bone that controlled the pinion feathers, but it's got no feathers. This thing can't fly. But yeah, it looks wicked, absolutely amazing. I wish we had more than one. So we've been pulling this guy out a lot lately just because he's a really good comparison. This is a standard Mythic Legions skeleton. As you can see, this one is a cut above. This one is much more menacing. This one is just a little skeleton with a belt. But yeah, this thing is just like psycho in comparison. They're like, you know, best friends, where one is really calm and reserved and the other one is just nuts. Here is Maxilis. Lots of bone people, as I mentioned in this wave, lots of bone people that don't want to stand up. He's just hanging out in the background. And then there is, if I can get her to cooperate, Belalith. I always feel like I'm saying her name wrong. I feel like I'm butchering her name. Belalith. Anyway, in the lore, going back to lore, I think that she is the one who controls the army of Turpiculi, because she's got all these undead beasts under her control, and I think that's super cool. Gatekeep, gaslight, girl boss. So yeah, I love Belalith. She on her own is okay, but it's just like mainly the accessories she comes with are incredible. But this Turpiculus on its own is just the coolest thing I've ever seen. I love it. There's so much you could do with it. Lots of possibilities. And even if you don't have extra to swap out pieces, even if you don't have more than one, it is so cool on its own. And there's still a lot of options. Like I said, it doesn't have to have a tail. It doesn't even have to have these extra limbs. It's got that extra head you can swap out if you want. Not 2, but 3 very cool weapons. I love this thing. I know it's pretty early, but this might be my figure of the year, or at least a major contender. It's awesome. So let me know if you have this figure. Do you love it as much as I do? Impossible. But yeah, more stuff like this, Four Horsemen, please. It's beautiful. It's amazing. And I love it. Also, this is probably very late, but we have reached 3,000 subscribers. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. I don't know why you care about my opinion, but I do try to be entertaining. I said in a community post that when I reach 3,000 subscribers, I want to do a live stream, and that is still the case. I just need to figure out how to get it set up. I want to do an AMA and then maybe live streaming, building a model kit. I just need to figure all that out. So keep your eyes peeled. I'll be working on that. Again, thank you guys so much. It really means a lot. I try to be educational and entertaining, and if the best I can do is be coherent, that's good too. So, as always, likes and subscribes are very much appreciated. Comments are more than welcome, and I will see you guys on the next one.